Hi, it's Keith from the Evangelical Free Church, Stony Stratford, and we're continuing our series in the Gospel of Mark. And today we're looking at Mark chapter 5, verses 1 to 20. Well, last week we saw how Jesus calmed the storm. But when they get to the other side of the lake, it's really a case of what the old proverb says, out of the frying pan and into the fire. Because what they come across is a wretched situation. Listen to this as they meet this demon-possessed man. Verse 3. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the arms on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day, he among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with stones. You can almost imagine it. As they draw up at the shore, they are confronted by this man. And I suspect the disciples really wanted to get back in the boat and go back to the other side. It's a pitiful state, isn't it? He sees Jesus at a distance and he immediately recognizes him. Verse 6, when he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Swear to God you won't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you evil spirit." And it's quite disturbing, because when Jesus asks him who he is, his reply is, "My name is Legion." He's got no identity of his own. Legion actually is an interesting term, because it's a Roman army term. A legion was 6,000 men. Now I suspect there weren't as many demons as that. But as it says, for we are many. Well, what is Jesus going to do? The demons recognize his authority, so now he exerts it. Verse 11 to 13. A large herd of pigs were feeding on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us into the pigs. Allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the evil spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd of about 2,000 in number rushed down the steep bank and into the lake, where they were drowned. Why did Jesus let these demons go into the pigs? Two reasons, really. The first is this: Satan's time has not yet come to be defeated. That will be at some point in the future. The second thing is this: a man's life is of value. In this day and age, perhaps we're losing sight of that. But Jesus saw value to this human life and this human identity. And it shows the destructive power of Satan. Well, what might we expect the reaction to be to this? Well, it's interesting, there's two. Firstly, we get the reaction of the townspeople. Not surprising, those herding the pigs go back and tell them all about it. And when they come back and they see this man fully dressed, for a change, sitting at Jesus' feet, what do? Are they pleased? No, we read in verse 17, then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. They see a miracle and they ask him to go. Okay, they're not Jews, they're Gentiles, but that's their reaction to Jesus. You'd think, wouldn't you, after having this guy as a rather disreputable and noisy neighbour, they'd be pleased, but not so. Well, what's the other reaction? Well, the other reaction is from the man himself. Verse 18, as Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who'd been demon-possessed begged to go with him. Jesus would not let him, but said, "Go home to your family and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. This was gentle territory to the east of the Jordan. It's a huge area. He literally becomes a one-man evangelist to that area. You see, Jesus is not in Israel. It's not where he cast out demons and asked people not to tell people about it so he could continue his preaching ministry. This is somewhere that Jesus may not come back to again. But this man is so grateful, he wants to share the good news of Jesus. That leaves us with a question. What's our reaction? Is it the reaction of the man who's had the demons cast out, or the reaction of the town people who want nothing to do with Jesus? And it brings us back to the message of Jesus. What was Jesus's message? What are the first words we hear in Mark's gospel? Well, it's these. The kingdom of heaven is near. Repent and believe the good news. The gospel is great news, isn't it? If you accept it, if you turn to Jesus. Are we going to have the reaction where we turn? I want to share the reaction of the demonic or former demonic. And I'm going to share these words that Paul writes to the Corinthian church. It's very much what I see as my job as a pastor. He says this in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 20. He says this: "We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God." This guy was, and it was the best thing that could ever happen to him. Don't make the mistake of rejecting Jesus. Turn to him, repent as it says, and believe the good news. Thank you for listening.